This is Mbide District, over 200 kilometers north of Zimbabwe's capital, Harare, in Mashonaland Central Province. A stone's throw from here is Muzarabani District. It is here that Invictus Energy, an Australian prospecting company, is drilling for gas and oil. The drive to the drilling site takes one across some breathtaking landscapes and valleys and treacherous roads with numerous double-sharp curves as one navigates the Zambezi escarpment. As one descends the hilly terrain, one gets a feeling of going down into the belly of the earth. Further down the road, the landscape becomes much flatter and drier, and the vegetation becomes sparse mopane bushes, broken by the occasional baobab, a common tree in the dry savanna.
I think it has to be one of the friendliest countries that I've visited in Africa, and I've travelled extensively, particularly on the west coast but also east, and it is. I feel it's really going somewhere. I came here in March and had the opportunity to meet industry leaders and politicians. And also normal people, and there's a real sort of enthusiasm for the future of the country, I feel.
On site, the rig stands tall, an impressive and never-before-seen structure amongst the mopane trees of the valley. Invictus Energy Limited Drilling Superintendent Ian McCallum gives an overview of the drilling work done so far.
We're here to drill a well named Mukuyu-2. As you know, Mukuyu is named after, I think it's Zambezi tree, fig tree, if I'm right. And we hope that our labor here brings fruit to Zimbabwe. That's my joke for today. Anyway, yeah, great to be here. So basically, we've hired a rig called the Exalo 202. It was the same rig that drilled Mukuyu-1. We brought over to this site. We have about 120 people, 120 workers on site right at the moment. Below us, right underneath this ground, 1,000 meters, 2,000 meters, and 3,500 meters. We believe there's gas reservoirs there. We've done seismic evaluation, and we believe it's there, but you never really know until you put the drill bit through and find it. So gas, as you know, is very light and it likes to come to surface, but we think there's seals over these layers of gas so that they're pockets of gas and a good reservoir under the soil. So it's about the main reservoir is about 3,500 meters, which is 3.5 kilometers under the ground. It's quite a long way. So that's why we need a big rig like this to be able to drill that distance.
Invictus local partner Geo Associates Managing Director Paul Chimbodza chronicles the journey beginning with Mukuyu-1.
This journey started in 2018 when Geo Associates, the license holder, you see on our logo, that's the license holder. And the two shareholders in Geo Associates are One Gas and Invictus, who are our anchor partner on this project. They bring in the much-needed expertise and also the financial side of things. This is a very expensive game.
Whilst looking for a project in Zimbabwe, met our now local partner, Paul Chimbodza at One Gas Resources, and that was in 2011 when we first met, and we tried to get this project off the ground, and it took a long time to bring it to where it is today. So it has been a long journey, but it's been very exciting along the way.
We were very fortunate that we inherited a lot of legacy data from Mobile, which data they had gathered over a period of 10 years. So we did our own work to validate the legacy data, and our work did confirm that the findings from Mobile, that there is gas and potentially oil in the Cabora Bassa Basin. It is a requirement that you actually go into whatever horizon, whether it's at 3,000 meters, 3,500 meters, and you extract an actual physical sample that you can stand up in front of people and say, this is the hydrocarbon that we extracted. We went into Mukuyu-1 and started to send our equipment to the ground. Unfortunately for us, because of the pressure at the depth, our well had collapsed. So galvanized by the positive result from Mukuyu-1, we kept on evaluating our seismic data, and our team had a number of sites that we're interrogating, and finally we settled for this site where we are, which is Mukuyu-2.
The progress of the operations have been much smoother this time around for Mukuyu-2. Going into a frontier basin where no wells have ever been drilled is always going to be a challenge, and it's going to throw up surprises, sometimes good and bad, and you just have to deal with it during your operations phase. But following on Mukuyu-1, we've had some time and some data now to plan our operation for Mukuyu-2, and subsequently it's been much smoother. And from a results perspective as well, we've seen what we'd hoped for so far.
Invictus places a lot of importance on respect for the local people, their customs and traditions, and holds regular meetings with traditional leaders, the political leadership, and government officials in the region. The meetings discuss local taboos and ways of improving relations between locals and foreigners working at the drilling site. So far, this has gone well, and locals are more than happy to work and cooperate with the drilling workforce.
We also interface with our local leadership. We do have a lot of cultural events that are necessary but sometimes demanded by our local leadership. And one of my favorite photos is Barry partaking of the favorite local brew. So we interface that. We interface with EMA. We are a fully licensed project. We interface with our chiefs. The license area transcends 2 districts, like I said, Mbire and Mzarabani, of which each of those districts has got 4 chiefs. There's 4 chiefs in Mzarabani and 4 chiefs in Mbire, and we take them on board as we progress with the project.
There are plus or minus 125 workers at the drilling site, composed of nationals from as far-flung countries as Mozambique, Pakistan, Egypt, India, America, Australia, the Philippines, South Africa, Nigeria, Zambia, and of course, the local Zimbabwean population. The expats have fallen in love with Zimbabwe and its friendly people. The experience and work of experts like geologist Eric Domingo Espiritu, a Philippines national now based in Australia, is invaluable.
This project is quite interesting because we came here to demonstrate that we can get hydrocarbon, and to do that we need to drill properly and get a sample, and based on that we will know. Okay, so that's the objective of this well, and if we're lucky it will be good for the people here and for Zimbabwe. So hopefully everyone cooperates, we drill it safely according to engineering specs, and achieve the result we want for everyone.
The drilling work is under the supervision of men like Paul Mitchell, the drilling supervisor. He and his colleagues work day and night shifts, making sure that the work gets done as safely as possible in close collaboration with the health, safety and environment team. His work is highly technical.
Well, yesterday we drilled the 26-inch hole down to 67 metres. Last night we ran the casing till 65 metres, and today we cemented that casing in place. Cement was in place at about 12:45 today. The next thing is wait on cement until the cement goes hard. Once the cement goes hard, we'll be cutting the casing and installing the A section of the wellhead. After that, we'll be preparing with the riser to and picking up our 17.5-inch drilling assembly to go in and drill out the 20-inch shoe, and then drill new hole to 500 metres of the 17.5-inch hole to 500 metres, and then we'll pull back out, and then we'll run casing, and then we'll cement that one. After that, it'll be nippling up, again, nippling up the BOP.
The wireline logging process, which is part of tests of the physical sample to determine whether it contains a product of commercial value, is also underway. Jemano Mwanga, the wireline operator who is an expatriate from Mozambique, explains the process.
In wireline, we do logging, and logging means we go by force of gravity. As you can see, that is a wireline unit. In wireline unit, we have a cable that goes through down lower sheave wheel to the upper sheave wheel, connected with our tools, which they are electronically, and we measure information downhole. So from this information, it's the one which we give to the client. You know, as you know, like we are service company, so the client hired us to come here to just to take information down there and to pass it data to the client.
Invictus prioritizes safety and environmental protection and has put in place world-class health and safety systems in all aspects of its operations in Muzarabani. According to Zimbabwean Health, Safety and Environment Advisor Jabulani Zimwaraka, this has resulted in the team going for a long time without experiencing any accidents.
Everyone who comes to the site undergoes some medical checks. For example, certain people will be having health complications, but whenever they come here, everyone is checked through our medical facilities so that there are no chances of a person collapsing and experiencing any potential emergencies from a health side. Then the next thing which we do is that for our employees, every morning we have got some safety talks where we discuss topics which are informative, right, which make our employees alert in terms of our operations to try and minimize the chances of potential risks at the site. We've got continuous training and awareness within the camp. For example, we talk about emergency preparedness, what our employees are supposed to do during an emergency situation, right? We also have a clinic facility which is there. Under this facility, we make sure that every employee, if ever you sustain any injury, you are supposed to be attended to with immediate effect. As an example, we've got an ambulance which can ferry you to Harare or the nearest health facility, depending on the injury which is there. We also work with a helicopter facility, whereby if we need to support life for any employee who has been injured, we make sure that that facility is availed in the shortest possible time to save life.
The company also attaches importance to environmental conservation, with mud and water extracted from the drilling operation being dumped in 2 dams created for the purpose. Work on rehabilitating the Mukuyu-1 well, which was abandoned, is currently underway. The man in charge of field operations, Mr. Garth Pritchard, explained the rehabilitation of the site in line with the Environmental Management Agency requirements.
As part of our environmental management practices, we need to return the site to its original state as it was before we moved in. So that process involves plugging up the hole. We've cemented that hole completely for 4 kilometres, and the next phase is to rip this area with a grader, rip it up, and then return the topsoil to this area that was taken away. It was stored off-site, so we have ready access to it. So yeah, it just means this was heavily compacted with machinery beforehand, so that it could take the weight of all the machines and the rig site as well. So we now need to uncompact it, so we'll tear it up with a grader, and then we'll bring in the topsoil and spread it around, level it up, and our plan is to bring in some native trees as well, plant some native trees so that we can rehabilitated to fully as it was with the surrounding bushland.
Water reservoirs at Mukuyu-1 have been transformed into 2 beautiful fish ponds that will benefit the community by providing protein. Invictus has employed a number of locals, including security guard duties, and has also engaged a local food company, Thebo, to provide workers with regular, scrumptious meals. This keeps the workforce healthy and highly motivated to perform their duties. The company has also come up with some corporate social responsibility initiatives, such as the drilling of boreholes, upgrading of schools, and road construction.
And we decided that we needed to come in with low-key corporate social responsibility initiatives. And even though we are still in the exploration stage, we also have got a specific policy that we do wherever possible, we employ from the local area in between Mbire and Muzarabani, and that we do it through the local structures, through the chiefs, and we try to be as equitable in our hiring of labor.
Chief Huata is also grateful to Invictus for the work it is doing in the area and the cordial relations that exist between the company and the traditional leadership as well as the community.
Kuya kwaita Invictus mudunhu medu mehwata munomu kwavandudza zvinhu zvakawanda. In fact, it's a game changer mudunhu medu memuzarabani manda Chief Huata. Havana kuvandudza chete mudunhu ma Chief Huata chete, asi vavandudza neighboring chiefs, ana Chief Matsio, Chief Chitsungo, Chief Muzarabani, Chief Kasekete, kwese ikokoko.
Ungori mufaro wega wega wokutenda basa ratakaitirwa neInvictus nemadzishe edu neutungamiriri hwedu wakangotendera kuti basa iro riwanikwe richiitwa mudunhu medu.
Nema kutenda kukuru neInvictus because yakaisa ma-taps, yaka-upgrade ma-systems emvura, ma-taps mvura, ma-clinics medu, paHuata, yakavandudza, even road network, mahuwe Muzarabani road. Yanga road yekuti kana even munhu anga akutendera nekumvurwi guruwe kuti adzike pamahuwe. But vakatigadzirira road, ivo vasati vatotanga production. Vachiri kuita exploration yavari kuita ichikutsvagiridza tsamba rafuta iro ratiri kutsvaga. Asi ivo vatotanga kutoita plowback. Saka chinhu chikutifadza inisa mambo Huata mudunhu mangu.
At Masomo Primary School, Invictus installed a solar-powered borehole and 2 water tanks. The school has 750 learners and 21 teachers. Even learners appreciate the work of Invictus.
Takanga tine dambudziko rakakura nokuti mvura yekumwa yainetsa kuvana vedu, kuvarairidzi, zvichiita kuti varairidzi vazhinji vairamba pachikoro pano vauya achienda achiti hatipana mvura.
Mbire Rural District Council Mothers Waiting Shelter at Masomo Clinic in Ward 14 is another beneficiary of Invictus Corporate Social Responsibility Initiative. At Mahuwe Clinic, 4 water tanks have been installed by Invictus.
With the installation of the 4 water tanks, which act as a reservoir mainly for the clinic, we have seen great improvement, especially in terms of constant water supply. Looking at the departments like labor and delivery, where we need a constant water supply in that department, washing of hands, washing of equipment, sluicing of equipment, improvement in terms of IPC, which is infection prevention and control.
Invictus Energy top brass, Mr. John Bentley, the Invictus board chairman, and Mr. Scott McMillan, CEO and founder of Invictus Energy, are optimistic that the exploration of gas at Muzarabani will yield positive results.
The country currently doesn't have any oil and gas production. The country and the greater Southern Africa region is short of power. If we're lucky enough to find gas, that can be very readily used as for power generation, but also for direct sale to large industry. A lot of people don't realize there's some very significant industries in this country, mining, fertilizers, and so on. And we can supply gas directly to those and significantly save their power input costs.
If we're successful, it has got the potential to make a huge impact on the country, mainly from an energy perspective. success and the development of industries like gas to power here could see us become energy self-sufficient or even a net exporter of energy. It'll also impact on other industries where gas supply will become an integral part of people's industries and processes, like it has in other neighbouring countries where we've seen the gas industry build out very rapidly once you have a discovered resource. Things like fertiliser manufacture, beneficiation for some of our other natural resources that we have in the country that we can't process at the moment because we don't have the energy. So from a national perspective, it'll have a huge impact. More locally in the communities that we work in Muzarabani and in Bire, that'll have an impact on employment. We've already been employing a lot of people from both of those districts and in both the drilling and the seismic campaigns. But once we're at the development phase, then that'll obviously increase with much more employment, other supporting industries that need to assist us with supplies, with skills that we'll need during that phase of the project and then into operations as well. That'll come with infrastructure benefits, more employment, and greater development in those communities as well. So overall, it will have a really positive impact on the country and the local community.
It's a very bright future, should we be lucky enough to discover oil and gas.
During the course of producing this documentary, samples of gas were successfully recovered from the well, and Invictus finally declared an official discovery.
We've officially declared a discovery, and this is the culmination of all of our work that we've done up to date on this well. The criteria to declare a discovery is very strict, and it's a big deal, the fact that we are able to do so. It means we've brought samples to surface, we've proved that we can bring hydrocarbons to surface, and that's the criteria to declare an official discovery. It really is a great opportunity for the country, and as a Zimbabwean, I'm very proud to be part of this journey so far. There's a lot still to do.
With the sun setting, another hard day of work comes to an end in Muzarabani, bringing with it a cool breeze and a welcome relief from the day's blistering heat. Tomorrow will be a day for new discoveries and hopes for a future that will change the people, the valley, and the country forever.
Well, I hope we have a long-term future here, assuming that we're successful in our operations, and that will, see us operating here for a very long time, decades. These projects typically last, and we've been very, very welcomed by everyone, and we hope to make a positive benefit to the community and the country that we're working in, and leave a lasting legacy.